Hello and welcome back to another movie review. As I said in the last review, I went to see Turbo. Uh, it was okay. I mean, it falls in line with kids' movies. It's cute for a kids' movie, but overall, I've seen a lot better kids' movies. Monsters University, again, was better than this. Despicable Me 2 was a lot better than this. Even Epic, to a degree, well, no, Epic was about on par with this, I think. This one might actually be, well, yeah, I'd say they're on par with each other. I was going to say this one might be slightly above Epic, but no, they're about equal. That's not to say I didn't like the movie, but I both liked it. Well, I don't want to say I both liked and disliked it. I'm just going to say I liked it, but it could have been better. Basically, it's everything you see in the preview. The snail. What the hell was his name? His name's like Terry or something like that. And he wants to be fast, so he calls himself Turbo. He's got the little sticker on his back, whatever. Him and his brother and all the rest of the snails are in the garden. They basically harvest and eat tomatoes. That's all they do. He dreams of being fast. He keeps watching TV with this race car driver, who's basically his inspiration. Something happened where he ran away or something. He thought he could get to a tomato before the lawnmower ran it over, and his brother basically had to kind of save him. So then everyone's kind of like, what a joke, you know? So he runs away, and he's out on the highway overpass, and he makes a wish that he wants to be fast. A truck comes by, blows him off of the overpass, and he ends up, there's like a canal or something that runs near the overpass where people drag race, kind of like old 70s style, where you meet in this empty ravine or whatever, and you race your cars. So he ends up on top of the car, he gets sucked in, gets filled with nitro, and basically becomes fast. So as he's zipping around the town, this Mexican guy who's into snail racing catches him, and he goes, oh, it's my lucky day. He actually catches him and his brother, because his brother was trying to get him to come back to the little garden area that they were in. So they both get caught, and he takes them to the snail race. Obviously Turbo's faster than all the other snails, so he ends up winning the race. So then the guy is trying to use the snail to help publicity of him and his brother's restaurant, which is called like Dos Bros Tacos or something like that. Yeah, I think that was it, Dos Bros Tacos. So he puts up a billboard that says, come to Dos Bros Tacos, see the fastest snail in the world. But it's not working, so finally all the racing snails get together, and they're like, okay, we're gonna get this tour bus to turn in here and kind of break down, so they have to, all the shops get a little bit of customers, because it's kind of in this dying strip mall. So the tour bus comes in, people see the fastest snail alive, everyone goes in and gets stuff from the stores, and then the tour bus leaves, and everyone's kind of like, okay, back to normal, we had one good day, let's not jinx it. So then the guy is talking to Turbo, and he's like, we need something that'll help get us on the map and keep us on the map, not just one good day. So then Turbo decides he wants to run in the Indy 500. The guy tries to get all the other store owners to kind of help front the trip. At first they say no, but then they kind of have a change of heart, and they say, okay, if we're all going to sponsor him or whatever, let's go. So they go to Indy. The other brother stays at the taco stand. Then there's this big controversy over whether or not the snail can race. some kid films the time trial with his cell phone and posts it to YouTube, and it becomes a overnight success on YouTube. So now everyone's, let the snail race, let the snail race. So finally the driver who's been Turbo's inspiration comes up, and even he says, let the snail race. So then they agree to let the snail race. So then right before the race, Turbo's kind of he gets into the garage and he sees the other racer's car, and then he kind of finds out the racer's a dick. So then they have this little back and forth battle with each other type of thing. A feud, I should say. So the Indy race starts. Turbo's kind of getting, crushed out by the cars, and then something happens to where, he goes into the pit, and the other snails tell him, stop racing like a car and start racing like a snail. And so then he's like, okay, so he starts going under the cars instead of trying to pass them like Indy cars would have to. He starts going under the cars. So he actually starts to take the lead. He's in like second place against the other racer that he's feuding with. And that racer keeps trying to like run him over, grind him into the wall or whatever. So then everyone's kind of starting to see that this guy who was this popular racer is kind of a dick when it comes to this snail, even though he kind of pushed for him to be in the race when he could have just said, no, don't let him in. So they have this thing, and then there's this huge wreck at the end. Turbo's shell gets cracked, so he actually starts to lose his power. And at the same time, the racer's car wrecks. So then Turbo's just kind of laying there in his shell, and then finally his brother makes it out to him. He goes, what are you doing? You're not a car, you can still make it. So Turbo's like, yeah, I can make it. So he starts doing his normal snail crawl to the finish line, and the other racer manages to get out of his car and actually starts to drag his car across the finish line, because the rules of Indy is the car has to cross the finish line, not just the driver. So he starts dragging his car. He's trying to beat the snail to the finish line, and Turbo ends up beating him. So then, that gets publicity for the little strip mall. So everyone starts going to the strip mall to see the fastest snail alive, even though he no longer has his power. But then, he's still the snail that was in the Indy race. So people still come to see him. They still have the regular snail races, and Turbo's shell is finally healed. So they're like, you can race again. And he's like, well, I'm just going to be at my normal pace, so it's not really, it's not really a race. And they're like, well, now you're on par with the rest of us type of thing. So he's like, yeah, we can do that. But then once he realizes that his shell is healed, he suddenly has his power back. So as they're getting ready to race, he goes, well, now you're on par with us. But then they all start to get these like jets and everything that are built into their shells now. So they're all whipping out their jets and everything, and they're like, yeah, we're going to blow Turbo out of the water this time, kind of a little private joke between themselves. And that's when Turbo lights up his shell, and they see, oh, he's got his power back. And then they all take off, and that's kind of the end of the movie. So yeah, like I said, it's a cute kids movie, but it wasn't that great. I've seen better kids movies. As far as a star rating, what did I give Epic? Like a 2.5? Yeah, I'd go with a 2.5, but maybe pushing a 3. Let's go ahead and go with it. I don't honestly remember if I gave Epic a 2.5 or a 3, but let's go ahead and give Turbo a 3. It's a middle-of-the-road movie, basic kids movie, not really much to it. Yeah, that's basically it. Not really much more to say about it. Not sure what I'm going to get around to seeing next. There's a couple more things that are opening up pretty soon here, so I'll probably go see those. Not sure which one I'll get around to first, though, of course. So that's it for this review. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the movies.